All right, guys, today is Monday, June 20th, 2022. I almost screwed up there. So I've kind of changed my mind on something. You guys have been following along the engine build here for the 305 for my square body pickup. I have been wanting to convert this to a roller using all GM roller stuff. This is an 87 305, so it has all the bosses in it that are threaded already for roller cam stuff. This originally had a hydraulic flat tappet cam in it, which is right there, and the lifters are over here and push rods and everything. But I wanted to do roller in this because I had a brand new set of roller lifters down here, so in the box, well, I still have them. They're not had, I still have them. But I have a friend of mine that gave me, he's given me all the stuff out of an engine he's got at his place. I have to go over there and take the engine apart though. But he's given me all the roller stuff out of it. The push rods, the tray, the dog bones, the lock plate, you know, all the stuff, the cam and everything. So I was going to use his used roller cam shaft, which I don't mind using a used roller cam because it's roller. It's not a flat tappet where it's metal on metal all the time, you know what I mean? But that was the plan, was to put new lifters in it with a used roller cam and then use all his push rods and all that stuff, dog bones, tray, all that stuff, and convert this to roller. Now, I got to thinking about it. When I texted him a couple of weeks ago, that engine went from the front of his shop. It's outside in a bed of a dump truck, and I don't know if they're scrapping the dump truck or if that's what he's hauling scrap iron in, but the engine has ended up in the back with a bunch of other junk. So his place is about, I don't know, 45 minutes away or so, 45 minutes to an hour probably. So I'm gonna have to borrow a car to drive over there, climb up in the back of that dump truck in the heat, you know, summer heat, and take all that stuff apart. And, you know, I'm gonna have to be moving that engine around to get all the stuff off of it. So I just don't know that I'm ready to do that at this point. I don't think it's gonna be that hard to find all that stuff. I could probably go to LKQ and get all that stuff at any time, but what I've decided to do is I'm just going to put a hydraulic flat tappet right back in it, because I've already built a 305 HO here from an 87 Monte Carlo that I got given to me by a friend, Jason. I've overhauled this, but when I took that engine apart, I was amazed because it still looked brand new inside and all the parts still look brand new. Even the bottoms of the lifter still had the sanding swirls on them, like they look brand new. So I called him and asked him if he knew anything about that engine. He didn't know. He bought that Monte Carlo as a project car, and when he got it home, he took the engine out and put a 383 stroker that he'd already built in there. So he didn't know anything about this engine, but it was amazing the condition that it was in. It looked like hell on the outside because there's a corner of his shop that leaks, the roof leaks, and this was underneath where the leak was. So it had definitely rained and dripped down into that engine, so the lifter valley was kind of crusty and stuff like that. It still had push rods and all that on it, but he had left the intake off of it and the valve covers off of it. But the cam cleaned up fine, and I ended up cleaning it up, putting new moly lube on it, and I had it inside this 305 for my wife's 55 four-door. So this morning I come out, I took the cam right out of it and put it right in here. So, and about that time is when the neighbors showed up to mow the yard over there. The neighbors' lawn crew showed up, I should say, to mow the yard. So I immediately put the cover back on and closed the door so all the grass clippings in the air doesn't float in here and land in my new engine. So now that they're gone, I'm back out here. But doing it this way, I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it. Either way, either her four-door 55 or my truck is going to have the expensive oils, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to change it out. Instead of having two cars here that would take expensive oil, you know, with the zinc and all the crap in it, I only need one. So either way, one of these vehicles will get in roller. So I've decided I'll just do roller for her 55, and then I'll just put the flat tappet in the truck and be done with it. This way, I can have, by the end of the day, this engine should be painted and assembled. So that is the plan for today. I'm going to go ahead and get the timing gear put on the crankshaft, get the timing chain put on it. I'm going to get the lifters in it, the push rods on it, the rocker arms, get everything, the lash setting on the valves done. I'm going to bolt the timing cover on, bolt the oil pan on, and I don't want to forget the oil pump. I still have to do that. And get the intake manifold on it and get the valve covers on it, and then I'm just going to spray all of it, paint it all at once. So the long block should be done today. Actually, just thought about something. I might not put the intake on it. I might do that in the truck, because that way I can lay the chain across the lifter valley, and it's easier for me to get the engine in together with the hood still on the truck. I barely got it out of there with the chain strapped across to where the intake bolt holes are on the heads. So if I put the intake on, I don't know if I could get it out of here, so, or get it in here. So that's what I'll do. I'll put the intake on later, but I'll go ahead and put the intake on it when I paint it. I'll set it on there and paint it on there. So that's what I'll do. But either way, the engine's going to get a little bit more put together today. So I'm going to get after it. All right, guys. So what I've got, since I've decided to go with that hydraulic flat tappet cam that was out of that Monte Carlo SS 305, the lifters look fantastic on the bottoms. Like, they don't even have a dimple in them. So I mean, they're dirty, but I'm not just gonna wipe these off and then stick them in the engine. I'm gonna take each one of them apart and clean them out, re-oil them and put them back together just to be safe. So I'm gonna take this apart and I'm gonna show you. I know some of you guys know how to take a hydraulic lifter apart, but some of you guys may not have ever seen one apart. So they got a little clip right here. Look at that piece of dirt right there. Anyway, they have a little square clip here, and I'm just going to try to get it started, like off the edge right here. Pull it up there like that. So I got the little clip out. I'll throw it in my little thing of gas there. This has a little piece right there. I'll knock it out of there. Just one little piece like that. There's a little piece of thin, round, I'm not sure what all this stuff's called, but you can take that lifter and just kind of hit it on your hand right there, and you can see that starting to come out. Look how dirty that is. So had I have stuck that in that engine and then primed it, it would have flushed all that crap through the engine. But this is the main reason for taking them apart. See that nasty oil in there? So I'm going to just throw that in there. Has a spring on the bottom. It just sets on there pretty much like that. There's a little bitty piece of metal right here. Just a little bitty tiny thin piece of metal there. But throw them in that bowl of gas here and just kind of slosh them around a little bit. So this bowl of gas will get the brunt of the junk out of them, you know, down inside out of it. But I will turn around and use carburetor cleaner and spray the inside of everything out real good. And then I'll use my blower here and blow everything out. Quite a few little pieces in one little lifter. So there's 6 pieces in a hydraulic flat tappet lifter. Now the lifter itself, it's got some stains on it that I can kind of feel. Now this engine, Jason had it stored in his shop in the corner and his roof leaked, so it still had push rods and everything in it, but water, you know, has splashed on this stuff and it just kind of stained up the metal a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some red Scotch-Brite and I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit, Scotch-Brite it real nice, and then I'll spray it down with carb cleaner and blow it out. But the bottoms of these lifters are fantastic. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. Like, it has hardly any runtime on it at all. So for me to save money, this is kind of my best option. It's just, you know, there's 16 of them and I got to take 16 of them apart and put it back together. It just kind of sucks. So I'm going to go dig out some Scotch-Brite. I'll be right back. All right. A little piece of new red Scotch-Brite here. A lot of work, but when you got more time than money, this is what you got to do. Piston looks really good. Little piece right there has got a stain on it. Okay. So I've got some 30 weight motor oil in this cap here. Kind of make sure and put a light coat on everything so everything goes together smooth and it doesn't stick or something. It has a spring. So the spring I'll sit on there like that, and I'll turn the lifter upside down like that. Put that in like that. Kind of move it back and forth a little bit. And you got to take your little piece of round metal there, stick it down in there, and your cap goes down in there. And now this is the not so fun part, but it's not terrible. So I'm using a nut driver here, which has really soft rounded edges, so it's not going to gall up this metal on this. But I'll kind of work out a little bit, make sure that oil is, make sure the thing's working smooth and it's not binding or anything. Push that down, stick that cap in there. Now when you got two people, this goes really, really quick. But when you're by yourself, it takes a little bit longer. And I got it back in there. Now I'll make sure it's not binding. So there's another lifter finished up there. How cool is that? All right, so I had to wire wheel the flange there. The gasket they used in the silicone, man, it was stuck. But I got it all clean. Problem is it was over torqued and it is pretty tweaked out. So I'm gonna have to knock these back down. So what I usually use is the leg of my carport here. Set that right there and then just kind of, that one's always hard to get to. I'll have to do this to the oil pan as well. All right, that ought to do. All right, so I got the engine up off the stand base. Now I got to remove the adapter there, and I need to put in the rear freeze plugs, and I also need to put on the rear seal plate for the back for the one-piece rear main. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and put the oil pan on it. And it may be ready to paint after that. Might go ahead and get it painted today. Trying to think. I don't think I'm missing anything, hopefully. All right, so I had to hoist it up in the air to get the engine stand thing off here. Oh, dang it, I ain't even cleaned up that piece that goes on there for the rear main. It's not even cleaned up yet. Now if I only knew where my ratchet went. So if you buy a one-piece rear main seal gasket kit just for the rear main on a one-piece rear main engine, small block, this comes in the kit. It's a tapered seal installer basically, which you don't really need it. You can get it on there without it, but anyway, it is tapered on that end to set on that edge of that crankshaft, and it allows that seal to slide over it nicely. In the engine overhaul complete Felpro gasket kit, it didn't have this, so again, you don't really need it. I wish my 400 small block was one-piece rear main. Man, those are nice. No two-piece crap you got to mess with and turn sideways in the main cap and all kinds of crap. Alright, so I got the new Melling M55 oil pump installed, the new pickup screen. I put a little MIG weld tack on there. I've got the new plastic sleeve to snap the distributor gear to installed. I put the rear two freeze plugs in, just done the rear main. So this thing is pretty much, at this point, it's ready to be mated to the trans and put on. Well, I forget the pan on, but what kind of sucks is I need to put it back on the stand, flip it over to do the oil pan. I could do it upside down like this, but I don't want to, so I'm going to take the extra step and go ahead and put that part back on there, because I want to make sure it goes on without a hitch and no problems.